So listen, you've heard all about the most important elements of our work in the three community investment categories: basic needs, financial stability, and certainly education. So let's just get right into education because that's what we're about. And by the way, that's what the script says. So we're moving right along. Liz, you've been involved in education in so many different dimensions at the state and the local and the regional level, and also your impressive work at the national level. Tell us about what education means to the United Way.
Hi, everybody. I'm very proud to say that I do chair the Education Impact Council, and really kudos to the members of my committee because they really work very hard. Our committee is really focused on what the research tells us. Get the kids early, keep the kids safe. So we focus on early care and education, and we focus on positive youth development. We really believe that if we support families, because families are our children's first teachers, so your dollars are invested in programs that help parents to be better parents and to really learn about parenting. Your dollars are invested in helping teachers to get professional development and to increase their careers. And we're very data-driven, and that's one thing that drives us all crazy, right? But I think it's important to understand that we really do collect the data. We're very serious about the results. And we've seen significant increases in a lot of indicators that really show that our work is making a difference. I want to highlight the positive youth development organizations. Again, the research says, let's keep kids busy, let's keep kids safe. And our partner organizations, especially the ones that serve our kids after school, really keep our kids safe, they're enriching environments, and most important, I think, that our kids are exposed to good role models and people who really care about them. So we're very blessed to have a lot of strong organizations in Waterbury who go above and beyond every day for our kids and family. We've started a few initiatives, again, based on the research and the brain development of children. We know that those synapses take place very early. So we really, I think it's very unique. We bring all of our home visiting agencies together, and we've embedded early literacy in home visitation. Before, the model was really on preventing child abuse, and it was more about safety. And I think through the leadership, and I have to thank Joanne Belanda Reynolds, she's just amazing, who has really brought people together, and we now bring books on the home visitation. We're trying to really embed oral language in the home visitation. Another initiative that you'll hear about with Chris is the Reach Out and Read, and we're very, the idea of wellness is not just physical. We know that it's social, emotional, and cognitive. So we have the Reach Out and Read program that really gives children who go to the doctors a prescription, a book as a prescription, which is kind of a novel idea, but it's a research-based program that's a national model. And I just want to also mention that we also have support the Bridge to Success initiative, which is kind of a coalition of agencies, again, to strengthen numbers, and we really want to have a community impact together. So we're very grateful for all the investment in these programs that really make a difference. And one indicator that you'll see in your packet is that we really require our partners to keep data. So we see that they track if the kids in their programs go on to the next grade level. And the kids in our after-school programs are thriving. And they've actually, 96% of them are going on to the next grade level. So we're very excited about that. And the focus really is on serving the whole child. So we're off and running. Thank you.
Great, thank you. You notice that each of these programs, beginning with Liz's synopsis, talk about the most important elements of our society. Right now, family, parents, and the home. So we're going to listen a little more now from David Morgan about the home initiative, because we can bring young people and parents to other locations, but when they go home, there has to be something important for them to understand, to appreciate, and to share. Dave? what is your work on Team Incorporated on the Home Initiative, and how does the United Way involved in that?
Thank you. Yeah, well, we're so appreciative for us at Team as a partnering agency is the United Way's commitment to education. More specifically, when you look at the early childhood systems within Waterbury, that of home visitation, and I'll piggyback what Liz said a little bit around all of the work and the commitment of the United Way and its partner agencies in this area of home visitation and early childhood is predicated on a lot of research and science behind what we know about children. And so I'll give you just a couple of the things to think about. When we look at maternal and prenatal development, we look at birth to age 3. There is more rapid development of the brain and growth than at any other time throughout the entire human experience. By the age of 5, the child's brain and the human brain has developed to 90% of its capacity. And so what does that mean? What that means is early experiences matter, that children are born ready to learn, they're born wired for feelings. And so we need to be very deliberate and intentional about those experiences for young children and how we support and empower families as their child's primary teacher. For my wife and I, we have 3 children, and we've been blessed with a lot of experiences and education. I'm still trying to figure out how to be the best dad I can be each day in and out. And so when you look at the art and science of the home visitation experience, imagine a mother or caregiver with a newborn trying to understand all the wiring and those synapses that Liz is touching on. And so there's really an art and science to home visitation, and the United Way strategic commitment to cultivating a network of partnering agencies like Team. I also think of Wellmore and Stay Well and Family Resource Center, being able to bring that network together to strategize on best practice, professional development, and oral language acquisition that Liz also touched on. I'll offer one more thing to you to think about as far as what your commitment and support of the United Way, why this is so critical. You look at it, and we often hear about the educational achievement gap and what that means. What I submit to you is how much earlier that actually happens than you may realize. Like this work and this investment in early childhood and including home visitation is so critical. You can take an average child at 24 months, a 2-year-old toddler, their average vocabulary, word knowledge is about 440 words. Now, what I submit to you is if you layer on the complexities of poverty, living through the challenges of a limited income background, the unfortunate reality is for that same child, their vocabulary language is 290 words. That educational achievement gap is starting well before that child enters the kindergarten arena. So the task at hand is so clear on early experiences matter. And the last thing I'll leave you to think about, this is important to the United Way, this is important to Team, it's important to partnering agencies, it's even more important to that mother or to that parent. They want the best for their child. They're looking for that. And so when you think about that home visitation experience, the relationships and the connection and that window of opportunity in talking with a mother or a caregiver about their baby, whether their baby is 3 months old, 3 years old, or 30 years old, that's still their baby, it opens up a whole window of opportunity to talk about all these other complexities around basic needs, economic stability, and overall family well-being. Because the child's success is predicated on the whole thing that surrounds their child.
David, the United Way Fund supports so much of your efforts, actually the efforts of 8 of these people and the other 2 groups you'll be hearing from. Where does the United Way money go for your particular part of
For us at Team, it goes into the home visitation experience where we're able to acquire books, and then we're also able to do the professional development and the networking with other home visitation partner agencies, so we can really kind of cross-pollinate ideas around best practice. Again, it takes a very unique skill set and competency to go into the home on a weekly basis and an ongoing basis and to develop that type of trust and connection with a family that we're going in there to have a planned learning experience within the home setting. And the magic happens when the home visitor is able to actually take a step back, and the magic is happening between mom and infant, mom and child. And that's the beauty of the support of what the United Way is actually helping make possible.
When I came to this country in 1951, both my parents were Polish born. There were no books in our home, not because my parents didn't want them, we just didn't bring them. We didn't know which books to have. In English, for the first few weeks, I had the English vocabulary of a parrot. It wasn't very much. It was important for my mother and my father to instill in me the importance of speaking and being in the marketplace. And then within a few weeks I became a translator. I lived that. Our young people and our older students really need that connection to see that at home is an extension of our society.
Exactly, and the silver bullet is not just the book, the acquisition of book and placement, it's actually the experience, and harnessing every experience for that child, because remember, they're born ready to learn, and so what does that grocery shopping experience look like? What does that trip to the library look like? What does that trip going to school together? All of those, so the book and the art and science of interaction and surrounding that child with rich experiences develops their oral language.
It's a wonderful program. Christine, you're regional executive director of the Connecticut version of the Reach Out and Read. Tell us about that particular program and how it complements and is integrated with the other two we've heard about moments ago.
Sure, and thank you so much for inviting us here and for all of the support from the United Way over the years. So at Reach Out and Read, we feel the exact same way and agree with all the research that David just spoke to about as far as early brain development and how important books are, but how important the relationship is with parents and children. So at Reach Out and Read, we work through the existing healthcare structure with pediatric primary care doctors, and during pediatric well child visits for children 5 and under, because we tap into those first 3 to 5 years where the brain is rapidly developing. We give parents, or we give children a new book, and just as important as the book is the doctor talking to the parent about why it's so important to be reading and talking and singing and playing with the children from birth. And just like David said, it's those early experiences that matter. And so through the pediatrician, we have near universal access to all children, even especially low-income children, but all children. We also have that trusted relationship between parent and pediatrician, and we have the repeated one-on-one access with both the child and the family, and that's what makes our program so successful. Reach Out and Read is a national organization. We're in all 50 states. We have 29,000 medical providers who voluntarily deliver Reach Out and Read in their exam room every day, because they know it's just as important as vaccinations and nutrition and safety issues. We have 5,800 medical clinics throughout the country that participate in Reach Out and Read. We give out 6.5 million new books every single year, and the United Way is part of that 6.9 million books that we give out every year. Locally, here in Waterbury, we have 9 clinical locations that participate. 4 of those were brought on by the support of the United Way, so thank you very much. We serve about 7,000 children every year in Greater Waterbury, and about half of that is because of the support we've received from the United Way. Their support has, your support has provided books for children and training for our doctors and quality assurance, and making sure that our program is delivered the way that we intend it to be delivered. We have 15, speaking about data, we have 15 independent research studies that show that the Reach Out and Read model does work, and that parents are 2.5 times more likely to read more frequently with their children, 2.5 times more engaged to read as a family together, and obviously the children we serve have more books in the home than their peers. Also, during the preschool years, our children are 3 to 6 months ahead in language development than their non-Reach Out and Read peers. So the impact is great. I just wanted to share, I did bring a book back. We could read the book, I guess. That would probably be fun. I did want to share some data, because United Way is very data-driven, as they should be. we implemented parent surveys because of the request of the United Way. We started in Greater Waterbury and now we do it statewide. There's only a few of us, Reach Out and Read's a national organization, but only a few of us do the parent surveys, and we're hoping next year to make it a requirement in all states. So thank you, Joanne, for that. They have been very helpful, not just for our work with the United Way, but with our work across the state. But we do a couple different parent surveys, but one is a pre and post survey. So we survey some of the parents before we deliver Reach Out and Read. And then we survey parents about a year after Reach Out and Read has been implemented. So what our newest clinic, which is in Waterbury, showed was that the pre-surveys, 56% of parents surveyed were reading to their children 4 out of the past 7 days. And then after a year with Reach Out and Read, it went up to 78%. So that's a huge increase. Now, you're going to see a good increase that first year, but we do still see increases throughout the program. So we have our national research base, but we also have our local surveys that show that the model is working. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to put, yes, please, results. As you know, with any kind of project or initiative, whether it's local or statewide or regional or national, activities is one count, but outcomes is the best count because it shows change in so many different dimensions. I'm going to put the three of you on a spot, but I just need one thing, and this is a warning to the other two groups. I'll ask each of them this question. If you were to give only one sentence to the United Way people about your particular niche in education, what would that sentence be to our United Way people? If I were sitting in the audience, what one sentence would you give me?
I would say start earlier. The earlier the better.
David's ready.
Early experiences matter.
Ditto.
And that's why she's so successful. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you.